Hello, Logic Language Learners. Right, I've just had a major sugar high from some orange juice. Expect the low. So this is a video which is targeting Max and Priya and a couple of other people this week who've expressed concern over this topic. There are other videos touching this, but the one thing that you need to understand with logic language learning, we have different systems for different things, and sometimes it's a question of remembering which system we need to use. So this is basically linking one of two situations, either a verb clause with a verb clause, so I like what he wears, or she says what she thinks, so we've got a verb with a verb, or when we start with an object, when we start with a noun, so we have the cake I like, or the girl I know. So there's those two things because they're bringing up problems. And the other reason they bring up problems is because we have to use these in French rather than do the English way, which is now more common, which is, so the girl I work with would have to be in French, the girl with whom I work, okay, which is the French way and the older English way. So the fact is we're looking at the differences between those situations because there's videos on all of them. It's just you working out which one you need to go with, or it's tricks on working out which one you need to go with. So I do hope this is useful. Priya, do please let me know. So the first thing to work out is that there are times in French when we have qui meaning, when we have qui just for a person, and we would use a different word for an object, you know. And there's times in French where qui basically serves anybody, anything, whatever. So let's look at the difference between those. So the first situation we are going to look at is when you have, start with your object clause, so the object meaning the thing that's having something done to it. So the woman I know, the job I love, the situation I hate, the cake I eat, okay? Now in this situation, the woman I love, now often in English we would just drop, we won't say anything, so people are nervous, the woman who I love, the woman whom I love, some people even say the woman which I mean people just mess it up. Not everybody, but a lot of people do, or we just drop it for common speech. So what we need to do is understand that we need to stop listening to the English, stop listening to whether there's a who, a which, a whom, because that can change in English according to whether or not it is a thing. So for example, the woman whom I know, because I know her, that sounds a little bit old-fashioned to some people. The woman who I know will often reduce it to the woman, the table which is green, the table that's green. So we listen according to whether or not it is a thing or a person. Scrap that, let's look at the French. First things first, A to B equals qui. I'll say it again, A to B equals qui. This means if you go straight from the thing you've just said with one word into the verb, you're going to be using qui, Q-U-I. So the woman I know is not going straight across because you're saying the woman, whatever the word is, I know. You're introducing a new person to do the verb. The table we bought, you've introduced a new person. The boy I love, they love, you've introduced a new person. So you will use qui in a one-word situation where you are going straight from the person you've just introduced into the verb. So for example, the woman, one word, qui, loves me. La femme qui, straight into the verb, loves me. Now obviously in French this won't be straight into the verb every time. La femme qui m'aime, m'aime. But the point is, this is what will happen in English. So the dog that's big, yeah, le chien is big. Oh, so it's the dog being big. It's not the dog Luke is big. Le chien qui est grand. The situation is difficult. The situation which is difficult. La situation. Now in English we'll say which because which situation is a thing. Scrap. Not which. Nothing to do with which here. La situation qui est difficile because the situation is being difficult. Okay. The boy I love. The boy I love. New person introduced. So not qui. Not direct. Not A to B qui. Le garçon que j'aime. Yeah? This qui or que makes no difference if it is a person or a thing. The table I like. La table que j'aime. The boy I love. Le garçon que j'adore. Whatever, okay? If you're introducing a new person, you will have que here. If you're not introducing a new person, you will have qui here. The light which is broken. La lumière qui est cassée. You're going to go straight into the verb. So verbs like is and are, the verb to be, verbs like happen. A lot of these verbs you will often have the qui, won't they? You know, because it's which happens, which is. Okay. So next situation. So qui or que depending. Qui if you're going to go straight across. Que if you are going to introduce a new person. Now let's keep that going and now let's look at how that extends down to ce qui and ce que. So ce qui and ce que is exactly the same rule, exactly the same law, but this is used to link different situations. This is primarily when you've got the word what being used in English, not as a question. So for example, I like what Luke wears. Why thank you. Luke likes what they say. What happens in France at this time of year is, what's fantastic. It's not a question. What is fantastic? That would be a different, that would be a different kind of format. Okay, it's just using the word what, not as a question. So this will basically either be ce que, ce, new word QUE, like the end of your parce que word, or ce qui, CE, new word QUI. And again, it's exactly the same rule. If you introduce a new person, you're going to have ce que, and if you're introducing no new person, if you're not introducing a new person, you will have ce qui. For example, I like what John says. I'm liking, John is saying, new person, j'aime ce que John dit. Yeah, because John is a new person. We like what they think. Nous aimons ce que ils pensent, because they is a new person. Now, ce que plus il is obviously going to join and make ce qu'il, ce, new word QU apostrophe ILS. Okay. I don't agree with what the woman said. Je ne suis pas d'accord avec ce que the woman, new person, la femme, a dit. Okay? So when you've got a new person being introduced, ce que. Now let's look when we use ce qui. When you've got the word what, not as a question, and then you go straight into the verb. Remember the rule, A to B equals qui. So what's happening at the moment in France is very interesting because, so what is happening? You're not asking the question, you're telling me. Well, what's happening is, okay, what is, you've gone straight across. You didn't have what Luke is, what she is, what the dog is. What is happening? Ce qui se passe. What is fantastic with this kind of video? What is, we've gone straight into the verb. Ce qui est fantastique. Yeah. What he does. Oh, brought in a new person. What he, ce que il, ce qu'il, what they, ce qu'il, what we, ce que nous, ce que for a new person. What's happening? What concerns me? Ce qui concerne. Yeah, because it's going straight across into the verb. Now, yes, in French you're going to have what concerns me, ce qui me concerne, but that me isn't doing the verb, that me is on the receiving end. Yeah, that it needs to be a new person doing a verb. Ce qui me concerne. Lovely. What tells us that Juliet in the script was, you know, whatever we're writing about, ce qui nous dit, okay? Because ce qui into its verb. This thing is doing the telling, okay? What Luke says, Luke is doing the verb. What tells us, the what is doing the telling. So that is when we use ce qui and ce que. So same rule as qui and que, just when we use the word what in English, not as a question. Now the next one. We are going to use the word quel for which as a question, and we've done this before and there are plenty of videos on this. Quel, Quelle, Quels, Quelles, the basic male-female balance of spelling. This will be used when you have which or what, and again there's this big debate in English whether it's which or what. There are arguments. Which is basically when you have a pre-selection of something, and what is more open. So which day would be basically be suggesting that there's 3 days on offer, Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday. What day is kind of open? Although there's only 7 days, so well, I suppose there's more days in a calendar. So that's the rough idea with which or what. Yeah, which can, for a thing, obviously you won't use which for a verb. You won't say which are you doing today. Well, yes you would if you're talking about which thing you were going to do, but the activity would be what are you doing. So which and what is not the question here. None of these are the questions in French. The point is, if you have a thing, be it a person again, be it an object again, be it whatever, it doesn't matter, you are going to use quel. Okay? Which day, quel jour, which brother, quel frère, which girl, quelle fille.